Continuing on with the Clone Wars, I hopped on over to the final episode in the Battle of Mon Cala arc, Season 4, Episode 3, Prisoners. As we know from the previous episode, Anakin, Padme, Kit Fisto, and Jar Jar have been taken prisoner by the Corran and these separatist forces. We open up on a line of prisoners trudging through the water in shackles. The Corran leader has put Anakin and Kit Fisto in like a torture device powered by some sort of electric eels. They're trying to extract information from the two of them. We cut to the young king and Ahsoka hiding together, trying to formulate a plan. The king said that the Corran and the Mon Cala people used to be friends, they used to be friendly, they used to be allies. But when the separatists arrive, their leader got into the Corran's leader's head and everything changed. So, the king decides that the only course of action is to attempt to reunify the two. There are prisoners of both factions among the ranks of the separatists. If they fought together, they would beat back the invaders. I like that this is the young king's goal. Unification of old friends to fight a common enemy. The obvious deception from the Corran and separatist leadership. It's a bait and switch kinda, fight the Mon Cala people, oh, and now I am your cutthroat ruler. We see a hologram of Dooku saying the king must die, the bloodline must not survive. It sounds like Dooku is planning a scorched earth assault. Decimate everything, don't let hope survive. Don't let the people of this planet rally around the young king. Bring him down, and the rest shall fall. Ahsoka and the king go to find Akbar. They need his help. The king sneaks into a group of prisoners to give them a little morale boost kind of and tell them to be courageous. Anakin and Kit Fisto are being tortured, but they won't say anything. The Corran is toying with them like a mustache twirling villain, like a villain from a Disney movie. That's exactly the vibe that this gave me. Almost like Scar from The Lion King, deceptive, vying for power, wanting control of the entire kingdom. And he's ruthless. As much as I like layered villains with various motivations that you can sometimes empathize with and at least see their point of view, sometimes it's good to have a villain like this. Someone who thinks it's their right to rule, someone who believes that they are the tip top of the totem pole, and others should bow at their presence. No real moral code, no real motivation beyond power, like a general who's promised a position of power by the outside force that's waging a proxy war. When the young king tells Akbar his plan to reunite the Corran and the Mon Cala, Akbar says, "How can you do this? The Corran betrayed and murdered your father." And the king says, "No, Riff Tamson murdered my father." I like this moment. It shows a little bit of level-headed thinking, not jumping to condemn an entire species, an entire people, for the actions of one or a few. Maybe the rest of the Corran are being silenced through suppression and fear, who knows, and it will just take a little spark to get them going. The young king seems to think so, and it looks like he's putting all of his chips on this tactic. Oh, and this guy's name is Riff Tamson. Riff Tamson. Riff Tamson sounds like a news anchor from Anchorman. So the king and Ahsoka get found out, the prisoner guards take them into custody. The king requests to talk to their leadership. The king and Ahsoka are brought in front of Riff Tamson, whose main goal is being appointed the leader of the planet, like I said. The ruler of all who live on it. He's power hungry, believes himself of great importance, believes it's his right to sit on top of the throne and be all powerful. Nosiri, I think his name was, Nosiri or something like that, has doubts about this entire separatist thing now. He has doubts about the entire war. He's beginning to understand that this isn't about what he initially thought it was going to be about. Riff Tamson schedules a public execution of the king, but before the king is brought to the public square to face his fate, he tells Nosiri, to unite the people and save their home. The execution commences, the king is saved at the last second, the Corran and Mon Cala start fighting back. The only thing that seems to be on the side of Riff Tamson and the separatists are droids programmed to be that way. So a giant underwater battle takes place. There's a scene in the battle that I really like. A big squid-like separatist ship is mowing through Mon Cala troops. A bunch of Gungans descend on the ship, start punching holes in the windshield. Water starts pouring in, instrument panels begin to short circuit, and the ship crashes. Visually, it was great. A nice way to break up the pace of the battle with something different. And one of my favorite scenes in this episode, it's gruesomely so, is when Riff Tamson is swimming among the enemy and just starts sticking these remote explosives on like 6 people. And as the camera follows him in the background, we see all 6 of those people just detonate and turn to pulp in the water. Riff and the king meet up, they start fighting, and then a scene straight out of Jaws takes place. The king throws one of those explosives and it sticks to Riff Tamson. Riff starts swimming towards the king. The king is taking shots, trying to hit the explosive, and then smile you son of a bitch, boom. Seriously, this is almost shot for shot the climax of Jaws. It's a nice little nod. In the end, the king is crowned. Overall, I like this episode. It was simple. I thought the transition from the Corran being the enemy to the Corran all of a sudden fighting with the Mon Cala was a little too quick. It just seems like it was a complete switch. Now, obviously, the episode only shows us a pinhole of what is actually going on in the world, so maybe we have to assume that the ranks were breaking earlier than this. But I would have liked to see that on the screen, a little mutiny every episode, until the big final attempt to overthrow the Quarren leader. I think with a focus on that, this episode and this arc could have been great. Now, it's time to head to the arc that you have all been waiting for. Umbara. HelloGreedo, out.